YouTube. I never know what this thing is called. But anyway, okay, so here I am. So I have TikTok, I have Facebook, I have YouTube. So greetings, happy Friday. I think Facebook is a little off kilter. So let me move this a little bit, or maybe I need to move me. I don't know. Okay, so that'll work. All right. So I'm in good frame with everybody. So Um, I thank y'all so much for joining. I see I have people coming in. Hello, Red Skills. Hi, how are you? Thank you so much for joining. I greatly appreciate that. And tonight, y'all, I'm promising, I'm making a commitment to everybody. I am going to be more structured. Hi, Leisha. I am going to be more structured. I am not going to be all over the place because y'all, first of all, I love to talk. I guess y'all have gathered that by now. So that is how I kind of go all over the place. I start on something and then I think about something else and I want to tell y'all everything. But so I can remain structured and I can literally do what my heart's desire is, and that is to serve people, to introduce y'all to an opportunity so I can hopefully keep y'all from a trap I fell into. Not by choice, but by circumstance. So that is my goal. That's my purpose. That is my aim. And y'all see, I have notes and everything. Y'all see all that? I got notes and I'm going to stick to, excuse me, I'm going to stick to my notes tonight. And to stay in that frame, I want to start off by reading y'all something. Um, I'm in the midst of recapping my experience. So I hope y'all have in the last couple of weeks have paid attention to my theme or what I'm doing and what I'm trying to um, communicate to everybody. And that is never enough. I changed my Facebook banner today and it says no woman should ever have to live in never enough or something to that effect. And I've said before, I love you guys. I support the males, but because I am a woman and I have been a woman carrying the entire load and I know the strain and the stress and the burden of that load. So it is my duty, I believe, and my obligation. Once I've come through something, I truly believe we have a duty and an obligation to share our testimony, to share our story, to hopefully either support somebody who's currently going through or to prevent someone from going through. So I have no filters up. I am fully exposed and willing to share everybody in hopes that y'all can avoid that same amount of devastation. So I'm chronicling my life for the past 32 years. Well, not like the past 32 years, but from 1991 to 2023, when I constantly and consistently lived in the space of never enough. And what does that look like? What that looks like is payday loans, title pawns. It looks like robbing Peter to pay Paul. It looks like literally never having enough. You cannot meet your bills and you don't live paycheck to paycheck because you can't get there. You're already always stretched so thin. It was like we were begging for Friday to come because we knew that there would be more money coming in the house and at least we could breathe for a minute. But because we never made enough to make our ends meet, they were way on the other side. One was in this direction, the other one was in this direction, and they were barely waving each other, weren't speaking. There was no communication because we literally did not make enough to make our ends meet. And we didn't live above our means. It was literally the reason that we were in that constant struggle was because our skill set earned us a particular salary. And with the standard of living, that's what we made, that's where we were. And of course, got married. And 3 months after we got married, we found out, hallelujah, we were pregnant. So jumping into a brand new marriage and getting ready to have a brand new life that was dependent on us That was something we didn't see coming, especially because in 1994, when I was with my first husband, I had an ectopic pregnancy and was told in April of 1994 that I would never have children. Well, with my second husband, he was like, I don't know what you're talking about. You will have a little girl. I'm going to give you a little girl. Well, y'all, he gave me two, almost gave me three children. The one in between our girls, he didn't make it. So Bryce is watching us from heaven and strengthening us each and every day. But that's a portion of my story. What I have got to share with people so that, again, I can make sure if I can reach you, you don't run into the struggle, the devastation, the hurt, and the pain, and literally coming out of the person you recognize, morphing into someone you don't recognize. And every bit of that was brought on by financial pressure. It was brought on by something I could not control. And if I can introduce you to options to prevent you from going on that path, allow me to do that, please. So, again, I'm chronicling our experiences so that people can have some tangible, always referencing what happened, to make sure if anything is looking like they're falling into this, that they back up, regroup, and strategize to get away from any of that financial chaos and instability. So, I am writing a book called How I Survived Never Enough. And this part right here, this is where everything shifted for me. And when I say shifted, I mean a major shift. I remember the sound of the switch. It was a small click, ordinary, automatic. I had flipped it 1,000 times before without even thinking. That night, nothing happened. No hum, no flicker, no light, just silence. I just picked up our girls from my mother's house. It had been a normal work day. I walked in expecting routine dinner, baths, bedtime. Instead, the three of us stood in darkness. There I was with two little girls behind me. In that split second, I knew the power had been cut off. No power. I called Ray, and told him we ain't got no power. He said he would pay Georgia Power before they closed. But something in me had already shifted, and that trust was a little bit shaky. I did not trust that promise. So I did what I always did whenever there was a crisis at hand. I called my grandmother again. That wasn't the first tight moment in my life, but that was the moment I realized something was deeply wrong. It wasn't just about the lights, it was about living in constant tightening. For 32 years, I lived in some version of almost enough. And here's what people don't tell you. Fi- but I'm here to tell you, financial instability doesn't just hurt your wallet, it changes your temperament, it changes your nervous system, it changes how your children experience you. But I survived it. Thank you, Jesus. I survived it. But I really didn't like who I was inside it. I didn't like who I became because of financial strain. And when I finally got a raise in 2023, when my income finally exceeded my expenses, I thought I was safe. But relief is not the same as security. In 2023, relief walked in. In 2024, I started thinking about retirement. I started imagining what my life would look like without that deposit constantly hitting my account. And then in 2025, I watched thousands of people lose their jobs overnight through no fault of their own, in March of 2025, to be exact. And I knew something was absolutely clear. There is no such thing as job security when someone else controls your income. There is no such thing as job security when someone else controls your income. And I refuse to go back to that never enough state again. Not at almost 60 years old. I'm not doing it. Not after surviving 32 years of never enough. So I made the decision. I'm building income I control, structured, intentional, repeatable, not hustle, not chaos, not grind, not pressure, not confusion, not desperation, but protection. This isn't about getting rich. This is about protecting my peace. And I gave y'all just a little bit of my journey of what financial instability did to me. That is why I do what I do. I have said from 1991 until 2023. That is 32 years of instability. Now, yes, sometimes during that time, we did have stability, but I was still always waiting for the other shoe to fall because I lived way too many years in instability. So the comfort that I felt, the comfort that was surrounding me, felt like it was just for a little while because I knew right around the corner chaos, confusion, hurt, pain, disillusion, distrust was walking through the door. Some way, somehow, I knew that was going to be the next shoe to fall. Sadly, I normalized not being normal. I always braced myself for impact. And I'm telling you, when I started thinking about 2028 being right around the corner, I knew that I was going to have something to supplement my income. That once a month deposit is keeping me comfortable, steady, and never having to go back to the payday loans, the title pawns, the pawning jewelry, the putting everything on credit cards. Y'all, there was a time I had credit card debt up to $23,000. That was $23,000 that had occurred over a 2-year period because I put groceries, I put gas, I put dining out whenever I was able to dine out. Of course, clothes, it any personal items, everything, doctor's bills, everything was put on a credit card. And before I knew it, 2 years had passed and there was $23,000. How long do you think it took me to pay off that $23,000? At that time, I was making $30,000 a year and had $23,000, and that doesn't count my rent payment. That does not count our utilities. That does not count my car note, my insurance, or any additional expenses. That was just to live pretty much day to day, a 2-year period. And if my girls had extracurricular activities, that went on a credit card. Well, what my parents and my grandparents, or what my mom and my grandparents did not cover, because they certainly covered the load. But then when I felt too bad to have them cover what I could not, I put it on a credit card. So $23,000 of credit card debt just to manage basic standard of living. Y'all, that is not living. That is additional pressure. And again, that pressure changes your personality to the point that you have no control. That is what happened to me. To the point that my children were terrified to walk in a room with me because they didn't know what mama they were going to get. That constant financial pressure, only knowing when I had a break that break was going to be minimized because I didn't think it was going to last. I did not trust that I was going to be comfortable for longer than just a little while. That is what financial pressure will do to you. It takes you out of your comfort zone for sure, and it takes you out of being able to recognize the person you've become. That level of pain, lived year after year after year, will crush you. You don't have breathing room. You don't know what a normal day looks like. You go to bed in pressure. You wake up with pressure. You go throughout your day filled with pressure about what you cannot pay, what you cannot do. What are your children thinking about you? Because every time they ask you something, you have to say no yet again. Or you're relying on your grandparents and your mom to pick up that slack. That became routine to us. And y'all, this is with a two-parent household. This is with two salaries coming in. But again, our skill set only earned us a certain salary, and that was for the basic standard of living. We have been evicted twice. I've gone home from a girls' day weekend, a girls' weekend, having a ball with some of my sister friends from church and from work. We had a ball. I pull up in the driveway, and there's a yellow notice on the door because we've been evicted. Unbeknownst to me, we were 3 months behind. My precious husband had not paid the rent in 3 months. I ain't know nothing about that. But what I did know was I pulled up to the house to a yellow eviction notice, a 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper taped to my door. Of course, I'm calling, I'm panicking. I called Ray and I'm like, what the hell? So he was at a dealership type situation in somewhere in South Georgia. So he was not here with me to go through the devastation with me. We had to go through it long distance. And that was not fun. But that is how I lived for years. Again, always waiting for the other shoe to fall, but not expecting how it was going to fall. That's what it looks like when somebody else controls your income because they determine how much you're able to make. I had an enormous skill set, but people, I was not willing to drive to Atlanta. No, I wasn't. I did that in my 20s, was not willing to do it, especially now that I had children. So here in my little city, I was only able to make a certain amount. Or little further northwest, I was only able to make a certain amount. And we did not live above our means. When my husband started making some serious money, and I mean, he made some great money, he wanted to move. Yes, Ray Ray, I am talking about you. Tell the people amen. Y'all, he's my moderator on TikTok, and we get along so well. He is my partner for life because we ain't got no bills together. When you have bills with someone, that's a whole different level of strain that is sometimes too much to handle. So I've said before, I said this 2 nights ago. Had it not been for our financial struggles, had it not been for the dishonesty, the lies, the deceit that were brought about because of the financial struggles, we would be getting ready in next year, 2027, to celebrate 30 years of marriage, as opposed to what we're right now in 15 years of divorce. Yeah, amen. Thank you, sugar. At some point in time, hoping and praying and believing when the same type of behavior is constantly being exhibited. Yeah, that hope and praying and believing, it stopped working for me because I was living in the hurt, the pain, the chaos, and the disillusion, and seeing absolutely no way out. So when he started making good money, and we were both gainfully employed, he started making good money. He decided he wanted to keep up with the Joneses, so he moved us into a $300,000 house, and I told him no. I initially said no, and I said, fine, if you can make $5,000 in a weekend. Now, he was a car salesman. He was phenomenal. Yes, he was. I said, make $5,000 in a weekend and we'll move. He answered my challenge. He made it, showed me what he made. And the next week we were signing the lease. The next month we were moving in. It was a beautiful home. That allowed me to be in a space of just being extremely proud and thinking, not only, oh, we're showing off, but we have reached a place where this has now again become a partnership. We're working toward the same goal. He is here in a place that he's 100% proud of. There's absolutely no way this would be in jeopardy. So we're going to work hard. We're going to partner. It is literally going to be, it doesn't even have to be a 50-50. Just as long as it's a partnership. You're pulling yours, I'm pulling mine, regardless of what that looks like. It could have been a 30-70, and I would have been fine with that had I been carrying the 70. Just as long as we were growing and consistently doing it together, I would have been okay. Like I said, he was making great money. We were doing what needed to be done until we weren't. I don't know what happened. I don't know how it shifted. I don't know when he shifted because paying for the home was his responsibility. I go away for a girls' weekend. I come back home. My mom has our daughters. I come back home and there's an eviction notice on the door. So we talk. I then leave the house. I go stay with my mom because, of course, the girls are already there. And I have to break it to her why I'm staying with her and why I'm not. No, that was a whole conversation within itself. But bless her heart, she tried to be supportive. Yeah. She tried to be supportive and I thank her for that. But, so getting through that, we were allowed to go back in and remove our stuff. And fortunately, the one of the owners of that house had another property. He allowed us to move in. But that was our second eviction. Once we were evicted from that home, we moved to another home and were evicted yet again, like within 9 months. So that became our lifestyle. And y'all, that was what our children witnessed. So when we moved where we are right now in 2011, by the time we had been here for 3 years, my oldest daughter said, Mama, when are we moving? Why are we still here? And that's sad. That was possibly one of the saddest things I've ever experienced with my children. For her to say, when are we moving? Why are we here? Because they had grown so accustomed to moving. Their normal was moving from place to place. So you take from the time our oldest daughter was born in 1998 until we moved here in 2011, we had moved 9 times, evicted twice, and chose to move the other times. And we would move because we could no longer afford it. So we didn't get evicted anymore, but we moved trying to get a lower rent payment. And again, this entire episode, these episodes, they weren't just here and there, they weren't scattered. It left from being temporary to being my lifestyle. And I tell you this because I have to share the damage that that constant financial strain did. And if right now you're living in that strain, it could be because it is what it is. Not that you're doing anything wrong, not that you're incapable, not that you're not able to handle whatever comes your way. You could be making whatever someone else has decided you're worth because they have the power to make that decision. And there's nothing wrong with that. We work for other people. They decide our worth. I don't care how many degrees you have under your belt. I don't care what your skill set is. When you work for someone else, they put in the job announcement. They already decide what this position is worth. Now, if in desperation you're like, I don't care what I take, I just need a job. So, if in desperation, like I was in 2011, I made almost 50 cents less in 2011 than I did when I got my first professional job in 1987. I made 12.50 an hour in 1987, starting off on my first job. In 2011, starting the job I still have to this day, I made $12.18. Now, was my skill set way above that $12.18 marker? Of course it was. But because I didn't have the power or the authority to decide how much I was going to make, somebody else had that power and authority. So they decided what I was going to make. And thrilled, like I said before, this is my dream job. I am thrilled. Oh, beyond belief, am I thrilled to have this job? I love it. It nourishes me like no other. So, going into a place of employment and making less in 2011 than you did in 1987 when you are 20, what was I, 22? In 22 or at 22, no, 21. I was 21. I had not yet turned 22. I was 21. So in 1987, I'm making the same thing I made or less than in my 40s than I made in my early 20s. This is with a whole lot of skill under my belt, a whole lot of talent under my belt. But because I didn't go in there saying, look, this is what I'm worth, so this is what you're going to pay me. There is none, this is non-negotiable. You're going to give me this job and you are going to pay me what I say you're going to pay me. That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. When someone else has sole control and discretion over your income, they exercise that control and that discretion. That is why it is so important that we get into a space of generating income we control. We get into a space that if we are ever laid off, if we're fired, if our hours are reduced by half, once we've gotten a raise, been promoted, then a new team comes in and they decide your one position now needs to be two. So you're going from full time to part time. And instead of getting off at 5 o'clock, you're now getting off at 12 o'clock every day. Now go on, clock out, and get gone. That's how things work. That's how it worked for me. If you've ever been in a position to walk into a place to think everything is wonderful, life is great, you are being appreciated for your contribution to your place of employment, that's wonderful. It is. I have received raises, accolades, all the things, and still been displaced. I have. So when we don't control our income, when we don't control our financial stability and security, we're apt to lose what we have overnight. I'm one to believe now, because of what came back to my remembrance in March of 2025 about my own experiences. I no longer believe that there is anything such as job security. I don't, not when someone else controls it. When you build it and you work at it and you give your blood, sweat, and tears to it and it's yours, that's a different story. But when you work for someone else, and it may not be personal. 9 times out of 10, it's not personal. It's just a have to. Things have to be done. But when you're in that position, you need to understand, just like it went from this space to that space, it can go back. When I got my raise in 2023, it knocked me off my feet. Did I see it coming? No. Did I desperately need it? Of course. But when my boss slid that letter across his desk and flipped it over, I read it. I asked him, "Is this for real?" He said, "You deserve it. It is still not enough for what you are worth and what you do. You are deserving, and I am so glad that you are finally being recognized for the work that you do. I wish it could be more." In that moment, when I say it knocked me off my feet, it did, because I was a blithering idiot. I just burst into tears and I fell back. Thank goodness that chair caught me. I just fell back. I didn't expect it. He sat there with this Cheshire cat grin on his face. He was so happy to be able to give to me what I received in July 2023, especially based upon where I started at $12.18 an hour. So, that level of gratitude, just like it was given to me, if something happens that is beyond his control, every bit of that salary could be taken from me. And it's not personal. It's the situation that we find ourselves in when we are at the mercy of someone else's decision, when we don't build, when we don't control it. That's exactly what happens when we're at the mercy of someone else's decision. And I have read to you what I wanted to read and recapped what I wanted to recap. But I need to tell y'all again what that financial pressure did to me. Y'all, I'm 5'2". And I'm just an open book. I ain't shame. It is what it is. I am 5'2". Because of what I was dealing with, because of the pain, because of the not even believing in myself. So I had to show up with a certain face. I had to show up with a certain game plan. I could not let the devastation outside of my house be known. So when I went to work, I had to go to work jolly, happy, just glad to welcome everybody in. But when I was going through what I was going through, in 2002, I ballooned up to 204 pounds. I ate every night. I had to eat a bowl of what's that cereal with Tony the Tiger? Y'all know what I'm talking about. Frosted Flakes. I had to eat a bowl of Frosted Flakes. I wasn't even hungry, but I was trying to feed the pain. I was trying to ease that pain. Now, I didn't medicate with drugs, or I didn't what do you call it when you're overcompensating? Whatever. I didn't do it with drugs. I didn't do it with alcohol. I didn't do it with illicit sex. I didn't do it with any of those vices. I did it with food. Food was my comfort, and I fried everything. Oh my God, we ate like true Southerners. Yes, we did. Ray and I were walking around here looking like two M&Ms. I was round and he was round, but we were round together. But I gained weight. I told y'all I snapped at my children. Now, when we had a good time, we had a great time, but there was always that lingering pressure in the back of my mind. When we traveled, if our bill was not paid for by my family, we would make arrangements to do the tours. When you a timeshare, we would do timeshares. We do our little tours with our little babies, and then we would get our free vacation. So y'all, that's how we vacation. Ray, why are you laughing? That's how we vacation because we could not afford it. It was literally the bare minimums. And when I tell y'all, it was payday loans, title ponds, putting bills on credit cards. So you're paying for them two and three times. When you eat all your groceries, you're still paying for that grocery bill. When you drive out all your gas, you're still paying for the gas that you filled up your tank with. So that's what it looks like, which is now why I refuse. I refuse. And I'm sorry, I just hollered at y'all. I'm sorry. But I refuse to pay interest on a credit card. I pay my cards off. I put everything on a card that I can so I can get my perks, I can get my cash back, my rewards, whatever those rewards are. I put everything on a credit card other than my mortgage. That's the only thing I can't put on a credit card. I put everything. If I go to Chick-fil-A, that's on a credit card. If I don't care. Everything's on a credit card because I like those perks. But I will not pay anybody's interest. So I will come home, pay it right then, or I'm certainly going to pay it within a couple of weeks. I will not pay interest. But just imagine that is all I did from 1991 to 2023. When I tell you in 2022 that I went into 2022 with $23,000 of credit card debt. So when I got that my house refinanced, that 23,000 was rolled right into that. So was my car payment. Anything else I could roll into that refinance, I did. I did. So I thank you, Jesus, that I bought almost a $300,000 house in 2011 for 94.5. So I came in with a bucket of equity, a ton of equity. So every time I needed, I could go in and get a HELOC, refinance twice, because that's how I lived. That is exactly how I lived. So y'all, I implore you, when you're in a space to generate income you control, when you're in a space to take matters into your own hands just for financial stability, for you to maintain your personality, your dignity, your grace, your softness. Y'all, I used to be just full of laughter. I giggled at everything. I was a jokester. I loved life. But when financial pressures are lived for 32 years, it changes you. For me to cry now, I remember I was watching a video of a butterfly. It was a caterpillar, from a caterpillar going to a butterfly at a job. And I'm sitting there just boo-hooing, snot everywhere, because it was so precious. It was so sweet. That's how sensitive I used to be. I everything was just lovely. I could find joy in everything until that financial pressure overtook me and I couldn't see my way out. That is why I am 100% committed. Yes, I want to build to supplement my income when I retire. That is why I got into this business. But when I saw the devastation in March 2025, every bit of that shifted. It brought back what it feels like when, at no fault of your own, somebody can just snatch your livelihood. You go in thinking everything is great. You do what you've done for 10, 20, 30 years. You do that routine. It is part of who you are. You've sacrificed time with your family. You've sacrificed vacations. You've sacrificed your health to be a great employee. And then you get to a point where somebody else comes in, they decide your position is no longer necessary, your department is no longer necessary, that worth no longer falls on you. So they decide you can go, and go you do, with no warning, absolutely no warning. You try to get into your office, you're locked out. People meet you at the entrance and they escort you to your space to clean off your desk, and then you're gone. That's what it looks like when someone else has the power and the decision to control your job security, your financial stability, the stability of your household. And I know what it feels like when one job controls the entire financial security of your household, because my husband and I were working for the same company. And I begged that rascal not to come to work for that company. He ain't want to listen. So my old boss, who was an attorney, talked him into coming. I was going to cut him for even mentioning it to Ray, but he did. Ray took the bait. He came. For a while, it was fantabulous. We were both making money. Things were good. We weren't worried. We weren't living paycheck to paycheck. None of that. We were planning vacations. The girls had child that Ray got me honey, what was that? That ring. Yeah, the anniversary. Oh, he got me an anniversary band. That in that drawer right now, because we ain't married, so I ain't wearing that. But y'all, that Christmas, we dined out leading up to Christmas. Every weekend we were dining out. The children were being, we all dressed, looking fancy dancy. We dined. We had a ball until we didn't. Shortly after that wonderful season, we went into a dry season. Ray was laid off within 30 days. I was laid off. Oh, shut up. I was laid off. So there was our household. One place. Y'all don't do that either. Don't ever work for the same place when somebody else controls your financial security, your job security, and the stability of your household. But that's what we did. We put every last one of our eggs in that basket. And when it hit, it hit. Fortunately, Ray bounced back before I did, and he got another job. He got a great job. But it was that great job that tricked him into thinking we could afford a $300,000 house. Like I said, he was an exceptional car salesman. He was that dude, and he was making the money. So I wanted to start building a savings. I wanted us a safety net. I wanted us to be in a space that if something else happened that we didn't see coming, we would be prepared. He didn't want to do that. He was ready to move, and so we moved. That was that house where we were first evicted. We moved into the second house. 9 months later, we were evicted yet again. So one of the guys I went to school with, he had a complex of beautiful homes. I begged that rascal, and I'm like, look, I'm desperate. Give me a place to stay. And he did. Thank you, Lord. He gave us a place to stay, and we stayed there until we didn't. Yeah, because this was then our first separation happened because I had gotten to the point I can't deal with this pressure anymore. I was mad at my husband. I didn't want to see him coming, and I was just ready for him to go. So I told him to get out, and he did. He got out. So yeah, at that point, we're in divorce now. We did not divorce from until many years later, but at that point, there I was again, the breadwinner, the one managing the entire household. But I was brave and I was bold because I had gotten a substantial raise at the job I was at that time. So yeah, I said it with my whole chest. Get out. Mhm. But again, just like I got that raise, though not the same people, but it was the same company who made the decision that I was now going part time. So after being promoted, getting an amazing raise, being bold enough to know that I don't need a second income in this household for us to live and live well. That's what that raise looked like. And then to know 2 years later, we got a new leadership team in. And they decided, no, we ain't going with this structure. So, sugar girl, your little position is now being split between you and, now I remember that, Sherry. You and Sherry will split your position. You're 8 to 12. She is 1 to 5. Deal with it. I could not plead my case. I could not say, look here, I got two little children at home that I am raising. Have you lost your ever loving mind? I couldn't say any of that. There was nothing I could do but absorb that hit. On my way home, I did not call my mom. I did not call my grandmama. I did not call my granddad. I did not call my auntie. I called the Department of Family and Children Services and said, schedule me an appointment. I need government assistance. Because I knew what it looked like to have my salary cut in half. I knew I would not be able to afford what I was affording. So at that point in time, my family, they paid our rent, they paid our utilities. What I paid was my car payment and my insurance. I bought groceries and then little incidentals for the children. Cause wasn't no child support coming in, y'all. Wasn't no child support. So there I was. I was doing it all. I was doing every bit of it by myself. So here we go. The personality is getting ready to change yet again because the pressure is building. The pressure is on. It is hit because I did not have a safety net. I was not building income I controlled. There was no resolution other than to fall back into that dark and dreary individual I morphed into because of financial pressure. Mhm. So that's it. That's it. That's all, y'all. That's my story. I have been given the mission to reach whomever will listen, to tell you what financial devastation can do to you when you don't have job security. And I'm going to keep saying it until the cows come home. There is no such thing as job security when you don't build that job, when it's not in your hands, when you're not the one leading the pack, when it's not yours. There is no such thing as job security, and there is no such thing as loyalty because too much can happen that is beyond your control. People can love you, people can appreciate you. You can help a company go from launching to building and unrecognizable. Yes, you can. But if some stockholders say, okay, we got to cut corners, we're not getting, our portfolio is not looking like it's looking, you spending too much money on salary. We need to make more. These little people you got doing the heavy lifting and doing all the work and making us this money, they need reduction. You reduce salary, you reduce hours, but whatever it is you do, you make sure we're able to get what we've been getting. I don't care about them little people. What I care about is my bottom line. So do what you have to do to get these people gone or adjusted so that our bottom line can stay fat, fluffy, and full. And again, that is something that is not in our control. So what we do is absorb the hit. Once we get the news, all we can do is adjust. Now, we adjust and go find another job that could possibly put us in the same position at some point in time, or we make a decision that never again. Your bad moves, your decision, your heartless actions will not result in my financial devastation. That ain't happening. And the only way to ensure that is not going to happen is you build income you control, regardless of what that looks like. And I'm not talking about hustling harder. I'm talking about building smarter. I used to say hustling harder and hustling smarter, but ain't nobody doing no hustling. Not when you have a step by step system, not when you have a proven system that has already created 126 six-figure earners. I'm sorry, 128 six-figure earners. When you have a system that has already created a multi-millionaire, when you have a system that has already reached global status because you have individuals who are in South Africa. You have people in India. You have people in Asia. You have people. I need to be able to show y'all. I would be able to show the people on YouTube, but I can't show y'all. But I'm going to pull it up one day to show y'all our map. There is the map of the world, and you see little black dots worldwide of where people have established their business. People took a chance, they bet on them. They moved from depending on and relying on something they could not control, which is job security, job stability. They can control their level of loyalty because we're going to show up for what we're supposed to show up for. But what you cannot control is when a decision is made to either slash your hours, reduce your pay, or remove you altogether. You ain't got no control over that. You can plead your case. You can tell them how wrong it is. You can tell them, okay, drop my salary, cut it in half, just let me have a job. If a decision has made that you got to go, you got to go. So, what I will never ever do is return to the space where I don't like that girl, where I don't know that girl, where I can't and my children can't stand that girl. She was rude. She was ruthless. She was heartless. She was out of control. She was unstable. She gained weight. She couldn't breathe. She developed diabetes. Yeah, all that. All that. All that came from financial lack. Every bit of it. And when I tell y'all I was mean, I'm a Gemini. I already got two sides. I can flip it and rub it down in a heartbeat. I can. I don't mean to. I'm sweet as I can be. But yeah, it can flip. And it can flip quickly. That's also a Woods trait. Ain't it, cousin Gay Gay? Welcome. You and Sweet Charlie. Y'all welcome. Thank y'all for joining me. But that is a trait. And if I get under pressure, y'all, I'm not a control freak. I'm not a control freak, but I do like to maintain consistency, and I do like to have control over the things I can control. I'm not the type of control freak to tell you, no, you ain't gonna do this in my presence. You ain't gonna. No, I will remove myself. I don't have to have everything my way. I'm not one who has to be right. But now you're gonna have to show me that I'm wrong. But I'm not one who has to be right. I don't care about all that. I don't care enough to always have to be right. But what I will not release to anyone else is their right and their power to adjust who I am, to adjust my DNA, to take me out of my element of just being normal. Y'all, that is a terrible feeling. That's a terrible feeling. And I ain't going back there. I will not. My babies are grown. Our babies are grown. They're 28 and soon to be 26. So 28 and 25. They're living their life. But you best believe for all of their life, mama will show up fierce and full force all day, every day. And do you know how good it felt when one of my girls, our girls, was a little, no, a lot pissed off at a job she had? I said, baby, you come up out of there just like daddy told me years ago. He was like, you ain't got to have no job. I'm like, Dad, I really do. I'm old. I'm grown. I really have to work. So I told my child, my baby, you ain't got to work there. Quit, quit, quit. And when you get a job, do what you need to do. But until you do, mama's got you. Y'all, to finally be in a place to tell my child what my grandparents have always told me. My mom was 15 when she had me, so I was raised by my grandparents. Betty and James were mama and daddy. Betty and James gone to glory. They still mama and daddy and forever will be. Daddy didn't like the fact that I was driving to Atlanta. He was like, yeah, nope, quit that job. I wasn't doing that. But they pissed me off one day. They made me so mad one day. Oh my God. As long as it almost took me 2 hours to get home. I was still fuming when I got home. So of course, daddy's in the den, mama's in the den. I walk in the door, they already know something is wrong. I told them what happened. Daddy said, quit that damn job. You ain't got to go back down there with those people. I was like, Dad, I do. I bought a 1987 Maxima fully loaded. I got to pay for that thing. Y'all can't pay for that. So, yes, even though I was still living at home with people, mhm, I had financial responsibility. So it was when I left the comforts of my home. Always growing up in stability, never knew what robbing Peter to pay Paul looked like. But as soon as I left mom and daddy, I was introduced to Peter and Paul and all of their friends. Because literally from day one, had to put my utilities in mama's name because my credit was so jacked up. This was 1991, y'all. Mhm. So when I had to turn on my own utilities, that had to go in mama's name. I think my water went in Carolyn's name. I don't remember, but wasn't nothing in my name. Like for real, nothing was in my name because my credit was jacked up. Yeah, I had. Oh, I won't even get into how it happened, but it happened. Just know that it happened. So yes, that was the first sign that there was a whole problem. That was a whole problem. You leave the house of your people, and your first time being a whole adult by yourself, thinking you grown, you got to put Georgia Power in your mama's name, and the water bill in your auntie's name. Yeah, that's life, and that's life lived. That's the life I lived, and I again, do y'all see why I won't never go back to that? Even though our girls are grown, I'm going to always show up for mine. That feeling, knowing that if they lack in any area, mama's got that. So I not only support them mentally, physically, emotionally, I support those babies. Timothy Christopher, hey, baby. I support those babies financially because I can. And that feeling right there, I can't even tell y'all to be in this space, to know that what I was given from the day I entered this earth, to know what I was given by my grandparents the day that I entered this earth, to know that I can finally say that to my children after years of instability, after years of from 1998 to 2011, moving 9 times, after 2 evictions, after cars being repossessed, after of course, the payday loan. When they didn't know nothing about no payday loans. They knew that when they woke up and the expedition, not the expedition, whatever that car was, they knew when it wasn't out there in the yard, something had happened. They knew all of these moving and bouncings, something had happened. And I told y'all when our oldest daughter, we had been here in the house that we bought. We had been here for 3 years. She's like, when we gonna move? We've been here too long, because she was accustomed to constantly moving. She was not accustomed to stability. Now, there was no chaos, and yeah, but she was not accustomed to stability and knowing that once you get somewhere, you're there. So finally, for the last time, because y'all, I done got tired. I got one more activity to do that is part of our income earning activities. I got one more to do. It is 10:12, and I gotta get it done. I ain't got it done yet. But I want to introduce y'all again for those who are here for the first time, for anybody who's just stopping by. I want to introduce to you the program that has me confident, the program that has me solid, the program that has me knowing I don't have to, once I retire in 2 years, to go somewhere else to be a greeter, to be a waitress, to be whatever. I ain't got to go nowhere else to clock in for anybody else because I'm building my own. Told you, nine or not y'all, because y'all are different people, but I have mentioned before, 9 days after I launched my business, I had my first customer. I launched this business with a through a payment plan. I purchased our $900 program. I got on a payment plan. Before my second payment was due, I was already in profit mode because I made my money back. So 11 days after I launched, I got a customer from the Netherlands. He saw my content. He either saw my content on TikTok or he saw one of my ads that I placed. And mind you, this is not a Google ad. This is not a Facebook ad. This is not an ad that you pay for. Once you purchase your program and you get your website, you don't pay for anything else unless you choose to. So if there's an investment, that's when there's an additional cost, but it's not a requirement. So you purchase your program for 100, 300, 600, 900, or $1,400. You qualify for your payment plan. One person bought the $100 program from me. Her payment was $12 a month. Someone bought the $300 program from me. Her payment was $28 a month. So little teeny tiny chunks, easily affordable. When I purchased mine, it was, I think my monthly payment was maybe, I don't even remember, 197, 190, I can't remember. That was my monthly payment. But again, before my second payment was due, I was in profit mode. Now I could have taken that full $900 and paid off that debt, but I didn't because I made payment plans. I wasn't going back on it. There was no interest charged. I told y'all I don't believe in paying interest. There was no interest charge, so I kept my payment plan. That's exactly what I did. Customer in the Netherlands. Here I am, a little country southern girl with a global business. Now, all of my other customers have been in the States. Everybody has been in the States. That was my first customer, and he was from the Netherlands. So, told you this business works if you work it. And y'all, I have my first 2 weeks. So, launching October 3rd, for 2 solid weeks, I did everything that's required in this program. I created content. I did my classified ads. I responded to comments from inquiries. If somebody left a comment on a post or a video or whatever, I communicated with them. I answered emails. And then nope, I didn't go live. Oh, it took me a long time to go live. Here I am again, y'all. I'm forgetting that fourth component. Whatever it is, I everything we were supposed to do. That's we're told and we're taught in our step-by-step blueprint. So I didn't have to figure anything out. I just followed the blueprint. The blueprint says you do this, you do this, you do this, and you do this. That's what I plugged into. I literally I printed off a copy and I would highlight it in different highlights. But when I did an activity, when I completed an activity, I just highlighted that I had it done for the day. That is how I moved for the first 2 weeks. And 11 days after I launched, I got my first customer. That's what discipline and commitment looks like. Now, after those 2 weeks, y'all, I barely showed up. I now enjoyed creating content. I certainly wasn't going live. I did respond out of courtesy. If anybody says something to me, I'm going to respond back. That's grown woman work. That's grown man work. That's a common courtesy. Do that. Don't be rude. So if somebody asks a question or if they respond to a post, whatever, you respond to them. That is what I did. Um, so I stopped doing my ads. I created content and I responded to individuals looking for information. That's it. I barely did that. And then in February, this time in 2025, I quit because I burnt myself out. I got into training people what I learned in this system, and it was fantabulous. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And because I was doing that, I burnt myself out because I have a regular 9 to 5. So I was doing that on my off hours and on the weekend, and it burnt me out. So I quit. I came back in July. When I came back in July, I had a customer in August, a customer in September. So, and I still did not implement the program. I literally just started on the 18th, whatever the 18th was. That was 2 days ago because we're on a 90-day run and a 90-day run within our community. Our founder and business mentor, who is the multimillionaire who started this in September of 2022. She came from network marketing, knew nothing whatsoever about digital marketing. She bet on herself and changed the lives of herself and her family immensely. What she used to be, she appreciates, But where she is now, she never imagined in her wildest dreams that she would be able to do for her family what she's doing. She never imagined she'd be a multi business owner. She never imagined she would be able to vacation the way she does. But because she took a chance and bet on herself, also going by that step by step blueprint, she was able to build a multi-million dollar business in less than 3 years. So, following her proven blueprint, I know doing it half heartedly, I've made money. I am very pleased with the money I've made, especially doing it half heartedly. From what I put in, I don't deserve to have made what I made because I did it half assed. Transparency, I really did. But investing in yourself and becoming a part of our program, I just want to share with you how we're different and what this looks like. I've already stated in our program, you're able to purchase based upon your goals, your budget, and your vision, wherever you want to be. A program, an e learning program for 100, 300, 600, 900, or $1,400. The $1,400 program is in English and in Spanish. The website, if you purchase the $1,400 program, is $69. For all other programs, it is $39. But this is an e-learning program. I got a college degree through e-learning. The e-learning industry is already a $1 trillion business. E-learning is not going anywhere because the internet is not going anywhere. Tell you what, COVID taught us a whole lot. It also taught us to really engage and immerse in this digital space. So, what you learn in our program is digital marketing. Like I said, I learned skills in this program, and in about 28 calendar days, I made $10,000. That was through training others. I did 29 trainings in that space. This is after my regular 9 to 5. I trained people on a digital presence, on how to build their customer base digitally. I rode through town and I got the names of businesses off of billboards. I'm like, they believe in marketing, but I know how much it costs for a digital billboard because I created a digital campaign for someone in 2021, I believe. Okay, here comes this puzzle. I'm gonna have to do it for TikTok. Okay, very good. So I'm back. Yes. So I know how much that is. So what I did was make a pitch to them. Now, this is not what we're taught in our program. We're taught to get our income earning activities done in 2 hours a day. That's it. So, to those four components of our income earning activities, that is what we're taught to do each day. So what I did, me and my brilliant self, I was so excited about the skills I learned. I'm making a pitch to these businesses that I've found on billboards in the city I live in and in the city I work in. I called them, I sent them an email and introduced myself, introduced my program, and told them what I had to offer. And I charged $112.50 an hour for my services. And I got that from my highest program at that time was $900. If you take a regular 8 hour day, I divided 900 by 8 and got $112.50. So that was my hourly wage. When I made the pitch to them and told them what they could accomplish by getting into the digital space and promoting their business, depending on what business they have, you can target your market. So if they're here in my city, they can target that market specifically and tailor their promotions to people within a however many mile radius, a 50-mile radius, a 20-mile radius, a 100-mile radius. They can specifically target those people and do it digitally. Once you purchase your program, that's it. You don't have to do anything else. So, whatever you're paying for this digital billboard, you can start getting a greater reach because I had to make several rounds so I could write down the name, the number, and then I parked in a space and overlooked and was writing down the names and the numbers of the people on the billboard so I'd know who to contact. Now, if you can imagine, I was sitting at the red light. That's what gave me that idea. So I did not a U-turn. I went down, turned around, and then went up on the hill and wrote down the information. But I couldn't capture a right amount of attention to know who I needed to reach out to for the service they were promoting, because that's an 8-second look. If you don't capture that information in 8 seconds, you're going to miss it. But with promoting in the digital space, those promotions are evergreen. They don't go away. A video that I created in October of 2024 is still visible. It's still getting movement because it doesn't go away. So I can actually go in and upload it and change the tag, not the tags, the tags. I can change the hashtags again and give it more traction, give it more activity. But that's something I created in October of 2024. All I got to do is make a few adjustments and upload it again, or yeah, upload it again. So now this is the same video that I've created. It now has new traction, making a new reach to people of a video I created a year and a half ago. But on that digital billboard, you're paying for that baby month after month. The one that I created, that was $3,800 a month. And they had their promotion for 3 months. So $3,800 a month. And this was in 2021. I don't even know what it is now. 2021, $3,800 a month is what they paid for their digital promotion. They got some business from it, but I think they maybe got 2-3 customers who said, this is, I saw your billboard and I'm in. But the amount of people who have found me in this digital space, and I ain't had to pay for nothing but my program and my website. That's it. That's all. So in our programs, I've mentioned what they are. I'm going to mention them one more time. 100, 300, 600, 900, and $1,400. The $1,400 program is in English and in Spanish. And for purchasing a program, you can start at the $100 level. And a lot of people do that. They start at the $100 level. They do it on a payment plan. Like I said, she was paying $12 a month. The $100 level, they get their payment plan. And when they start making sales, they reinvest. So they purchase the $300 program, or depending on what kind of sale they just had. And when you purchase the $100 program, you can only sell the $100 program because that's the only program that will be visible on your website. So if you sell the $100 program 5 times, reinvest, purchase that $300 program. Or if you sell it 5 times, you can get the $600 program. What am I thinking about? Reinvest, $600 program. You make another sale. Now you're making a sale at $600, $300, or $100. Reinvest. Now purchase the $900 program. Get you another sale. You get a sale at that $900 program. Reinvest 500 of that 9 and get the $1,400 program, where you now immediately jumping into this business. You have 10 income streams because you're able to sell your program in English and in Spanish. Now, let me tell you what you get for free extra bonuses as a purchase. When you purchase our program, you get 200 digital product ideas. I told y'all, I was trying to get my hustle on, and I was watching people on YouTube. I love YouTube. I was watching people on YouTube, 3 content creators. They were talking about creating digital products, and every time they spoke, it was like this. And then I was like, I don't know what to do. I need to know what to do. They had been creating products, one since 2010, I believe. Another, I can't remember, and I can't remember one 2010, another one 2016 or 2016, and I can't remember the last girl. But they were talking about how they create digital products, how they have all of these income streams based upon their digital products, how things are just, their life is completely different. So I'm like, okay, I'm smart. I can do that. I can create a digital product. But because I knew nothing, I didn't even know what a digital product was. Just like I didn't know what digital marketing was. I didn't. So I'm sitting here and I'm watching them. taking my little notes, re-recording, doing my screen recording, recording what they said, watching the videos over and over and over again, and I still could not figure out how to even start. When I purchased this program, because we are taught all things digital, if it's in this digital space, we're taught how to use it. We are taught how to perfect it. We are taught how to create additional income streams from it. That's what we're taught. And once you get in this business, you're in business for yourself, but you're never by yourself because you have a whole community now, 59,000 strong, showing up for you. We have live interactive training. We have training for how to reach your perfect customer, how to launch your business successfully. We have a 7-day launch to profit module. It's literally walking you through, do this hour of the day, do this hour of the day. This is how you introduce it. You're getting ready to start your business. Warm your people up. Don't just pop on the scene and say, I got a business, buy from me. You you introduce yourself properly. There are strategies that you use to make you more successful. These are things we're taught. So you get 200 digital product ideas. Not only do we give you the ideas, we tell you how this can be used, how you can start it, how you can build it, how you can market it. Free. 200 digital product ideas. You get a 30-day market strategy growth plan. I got to read y'all exactly what I wrote about this plan. It literally gives you a 30-day strategy to build your business online. So if you have a brick and mortar business like the ones I trained, and you just want to increase your customer base, you want to increase your reach, if you have products that you can ship and you want to be able to ship them worldwide, reach a worldwide audience. Ding ding ding. Yes, and if you want an online presence, this is for you. If you want to promote any business and do it digitally to reach a worldwide audience, this is for you. Let's say you're a music teacher and you teach in person and you also teach online. If you are wanting to build your clientele, if you are wanting to increase the number of students, you can be in your local area. Still promote it digitally to reach people in your local area. Get that word out. You can't be in business without promotions, because if you're in business and you're not sharing that you're in business, you ain't going to get no customers. How? Because nobody knows what you're offering. Nobody knows you're in business. So you have to promote some way, somehow. You have to sell something if you are trying to be in business for yourself. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's Mary Kay. I don't care if it's lemonade. If you are trying to generate income you control, you have to sell something. Now, yes, like I was saying, the music teacher, if he's doing Zoom or Teams or whatever, he's got his online students, he's got his students in person. If he wants this to be a hybrid engagement where he's teaching one class at one time, he's there working with his students in person, he's there working with his students online. But you are promoting it digitally so you can build your in-person base and you can build your worldwide base. You learn how to do that in this business, in this program. Um, we teach you how to build a faceless brand. So if you need to go incognito and you don't need anybody to know you're doing what you're doing, other than those you tell what you're doing, you can be in business in with an invisible empire. Create your invisible empire. We have a few people in our community. One works in the medical field and she's not allowed to be online at all. Well, she heard about this opportunity and she makes great money. This is something she also wants to do because she knows one day she's going to retire and she wants to have a very hefty nest egg. So she's building it in progress. She cannot be online she cannot have an online presence at all. So she has built, not building, she has built her invisible empire. She did it with a completely faceless brand. You don't know who she is, you just know that she is. We have Canva, a Canva crash course. So if you've ever wanted to learn Canva or if you've wanted to improve your skills with Canva, we offer that for free. uh AI training. Now, I don't know how y'all feel about AI. Sometimes I'm okay and sometimes I'm not. But bottom line is AI is here. And I don't know how long AI is here to stay, but where we are right now, and they're building all of these that we refuse to let come in our community. What you call them? Data centers. They're building all of these data centers. So I don't know if AI is going anywhere anytime soon, but because we need to meet industry standards. I used to be terrified of AI and I flat out called it the devil. Yeah, I did. I sure did. I said that was the spawn of Satan. But because it is such a useful tool, if done correctly, it is a very useful tool in many different areas. We have intensive AI training. Now, we've made it easy to comprehend because so many of us are still kind of standoffish. So many of us are nervous about it. So many of us are unfamiliar with it as far as our own operations with AI. So we have intensive training, but it's elementary and it's easy. The skills you learn, you would never think it was elementary training because it goes into deep dives and it compounds. So you learn this, then you learn this, and you learn this. You're constantly building. So within our program, you're learning AI training, intensive. We have affiliate marketing training. If you've ever wanted to get into affiliate marketing, loud, my battery is getting low. If you've ever wanted to get into affiliate marketing, we have a hold on, people. We have affiliate marketing training. So it will teach you. I hope I don't cut y'all off Facebook. There you go. I gave y'all some juice. There you go. Okay. Affiliate marketing training. We have intensive affiliate marketing training. It is, we have TikTok. No, TikTok shop training is coming. I don't know if it's been paused because I've heard people are having a few issues. I don't know. I know nothing about TikTok Shop. I know that someone showed me a product the other day, and I'm like, "Did you get that from TikTok Shop?" And they're like, "Sure did." I was like, "Shoot, let me go on there and go to shopping." But we will have TikTok Shop training, and I don't know if it's, like I said, I don't know if it's been paused because right now with the sale, we don't know where things are going. So the training will be released and available likely as soon as there is a little more solid footing on what this is going to look like and what opportunities are available to people who get into TikTok top shop. But we will have that training available as well. We teach you how to actually hone in on brands and partnerships. This is the entire purpose is to be able to build multiple income streams, to not rely on just one income source. When you rely and you put your eggs in that one basket, like I told you, Ray and I did working for the same company at the same time. He got laid off and I was laid off within 30 days. You don't put your eggs in just one basket. So you need to start building a nest egg. You need to build your safety net. You need to always know that if anything happens, if there is a shift, you can navigate that shift well, that your entire being will not blow up. You won't get so nervous that you come out of your character because of financial stress. Ask me how I know. I know that because I live that children. Sure did. So, in addition to all of this, our bottom line is we are teaching you how to build multiple income streams so that that one income stream is not the only thing you can rely on. That is the purpose of the digital growth community. That is the reason we build. That is the reason we exist. That is the reason we invite you to become a part of our community. Hey, how down. Okay. All right. Y'all been so good. Thank y'all. Grady, hey, darling. Hello, hello, hello. Hey there, King XIP. Hi, Bessie. And everybody else is scrolled up. I'm sorry. Can I see? I'm not touching this screen because the last time I touched this screen, it split. Hey, Jay Knox, it split. And I had a great time with Tay. Ray said, "Let him cook." I let him cook. I had such a good time with that young man. But I'm not touching the screen because I'll end up. Hey, Joe, look at my sweet Cheryl. Look at my niecey Pooh. Hi, niecey. Um, yes, I'm not going to touch the screens because again, I will let someone in. And but I did. I had a good time with Tay. Y'all, that young man. Yeah, I had a good time with Tay. But y'all have been on here for an hour and 19 minutes. Look at us. I said 30 minutes, but I have such a good time with y'all. Y'all give me life. I appreciate everybody who stopped by. Now, listen, what I want you to do, what is you, Ray? I mean, I didn't mean, y'all, that is not how I speak. He said it's me, and I'm asking what anyway, never mind. We'll talk about this when we get offline. I don't know what hubby is talking about. Bless his heart. Y'all, he is such a great moderator. Y'all give Ray a round of applause. He is an exceptional moderator. Hey, Team Metro, how are you? Thank you for jumping in and stopping by. I appreciate you. Yes. So, if you're interested in taking a look at my program, if even more than that, if you are interested in generating income you control, if you are interested in building your safety net, your nest egg, if you are soon to retire, like I am, and you know good and well, now you got a retirement source that's pretty nice, but you know that's incomparable to the salary you currently have. So you know there's going to have to be some supplementation, and that supplementation is not going to be credit cards, it's not going to be payday loans, it's not going to be titled pawns, it's not going to be robbing Peter to pay Paul. I told y'all I'm done with that. I'm done with that. She is gone. I will never return to that space again. And the way that I can ensure I will never return to that space again is to build income with my own hands, to build income I control, to build income that is not tied to a boss, a job, or anyone else's decision. It is my hard work. It is my blood. Hey, Auntie V, my sweet Millie. It is my blood, sweat, and my tears that will continue to raise me and my family. It is my blood, my sweat, and my tears that will allow us to vacation to some beautiful places once we do retire. And I've told y'all my goal, my dream is in June 2028. Not only will I retire me, I'm going to retire my daughters. I've got some making up to do. When y'all read How I Survived Never Enough, and you get into my darkest moments, the moments when I told y'all my children were afraid to be around me because they didn't know what mama was going to show up. When we had a good time, we had a good time. But when the times were bad, they were bad. Now, I have never, ever, ever, except for to discipline, I've never uh, choked my children out. I've never put my hands on them because I was so frustrated, other than to discipline. I don't believe in that. Because you hit, first of all, I don't believe in any kind of abuse. You come for me, I'm coming back. You hit me, I'm sure enough coming back. So I don't believe in none of that. If you cannot work it out, then walk it out. Get gone. Bye. So I don't believe in that kind of thing. But oh, my internal devastation that I had to deal with for years. Like I said, y'all, it was not a temporary situation, it became a lifestyle. Suffering in silence and then suffering real loud, depending on what I could hold at any given moment. I had no control over how it came out. But in 2007, I did have to be medicated for 90 days. I had to get on an antidepressant and I had to get on anxiety medicine because of financial stressors. Because I'm thinking I'm big bad Sandra and I can handle anything that come my way and I ain't got to worry about this, I ain't got to worry about that. I'm going to handle it because I can, but I couldn't. So not only was I faking folk out outside of my four walls, I was apparently faking myself out. I thought I was stronger than I actually was. And y'all, it wasn't because I was hurt. It was because I was broke. And there has been nothing in my life. I've lost people. I have suffered loss. I have a physical ailment right now. I have been in places that have completely broken my heart. But there is absolutely nothing in my life that has caused the kind of devastation that financial lack caused. For one, the stability and just the fun and the freedom that I was raised in, to know that I could not give that to my girls, that's a gut punch and a devastation that you just don't shake off. But because I could not provide them that same stability, not until July 2023. So I'm going to talk about July 2023 forever, because that was the moment that I really exhaled. That was the moment that my income exceeded my expenses. That was the moment that I didn't have to look back. And knowing what that feels like, I won't return to that space. I don't care if my girls are grown. They need a mama who is ready, willing, and able to show up for them at any cost. They are mine. They are ours. They are our life. So I will do anything I have to do to always make sure they are good. And financially, whatever they slip into, knowing I can pick them up. I love that. They will forever have the emotional and the spiritual and the physical support. Always. And the mental support. But knowing without a second thought, none of that, they have my financial support. And that feels good. So I'm telling y'all, mark my words, June 2028, Frick and Frack will be retiring with their mama. Our first trip, our first vacation, we going to Disney. Yeah, we grown, we old, but we going to Disney, stay on the resort, stay for a full week, just have a good time. Then we may go to Disney in France. I ain't decided yet. We're also going to Nigeria. We're going to Ghana. That's going to be A is interested in contacting creator. Hey there, A. Contact me. Send me a DM. Yes. So this is what I'm doing. My babies will get to experience what mama has always wanted them to experience as a family, as a unit. So me, my children, my hubby, ex-hubby, all of us, we packing up, we getting gone. And we are going to enjoy living our best lives. And then I'm setting my babies up to be in their own business. Yes. That's what mama is doing, because they deserve that, y'all. And I can dream. Start July 2023, I started dreaming again. I did. When I got into this business that beautiful purple lady introduced me to on TV, my sweet Nellie Mae, I started dreaming in a different way. I did. I saw the vision. I felt the enthusiasm. I felt the life. There was a different level of hope I got when I got in this business. And I didn't get into it wondering. I got into it knowing. Because first and foremost, I know what I'm made of. Y'all, I have survived some stuff. You hear me? I have survived some things. And I'm proud of that. And that tenacity also drives my vision. Because sister ain't giving up until she makes it. I'm determined to retire my girls. I already know I'm retiring, but determined for us to be that cohesive unit. We already can't be broken. We cannot be divided. None of that. In all of that chaos, that turmoil, that hurt, that pain, that uneasiness, when my children told me I was a great mom, child, and Bethany said she, and I was like, y'all, this was a long time coming. We went through a lot. And what that baby said to me, mama, back then we had mother and we had grandmama, we had grunty. Mother and grandmama are gone. When we need you most, you are a great mom. Y'all talking about redemption. That's not what I was shooting for. I was shooting for stability because the love I have for my babies, that is never wavered. When I tell y'all they are my life, they are my life. And those are some good girls. We are blessed by Jehovah. God has graced us with some beautiful girls, and I'm grateful, especially with what they've witnessed, to know that they have stability and hope and they're dreamers. That's all a mama can ask for. I'm blessed with some great girls. I am. And they deserve what I can give them. They deserve what we can give them. So that's my goal. That's my goal. And I ain't falling short. I listen to me. When I shoot, I get it in. Ain't nobody falling short because I got my vision. My vision is clear. I have written the vision. I've made it plain. I will not resist it. I will not hesitate. I'm fighting for it. I am going to be disciplined to get it. Like I told y'all, those four components that we are to do each day to follow our blueprint, that's non negotiable. I ain't never done it. I started doing it on the 18th, and I will not quit. All right, children. Oh, class is dismissed. I'm in here sweating, my forehead shining. I thank y'all for real, for real, for real. Thank y'all. Oh my gosh, this has been so good and yummy and precious to me. So thank y'all so very much for stopping by the neighborhood. I appreciate y'all. So we're gonna do this again tomorrow night. I hope I ain't gonna be as long, unless y'all want me to now. Unless y'all want me to. But oh, Nelly, thank you. Um, yes. So if y'all have questions, my email, my the link to my website, all of that is in my bio. If you go to my website, you're going to drop your email in there. You will receive an email from me with our step-by-step blueprint. I'm giving you free access to it. And that blueprint can be applied to any business. It is just going to teach you how to have a digital presence. So you get free access to that proven step-by-step blueprint. And again, that same blueprint has already created 128 six-figure earners in the US alone. It has created 27 self-made millionaires in South African rand. Three six-figure earners in Canada, and one millionaire in Canada. When I tell y'all we worldwide. Ain't no stopping us. Ain't no stopping us. We're doing what we're doing. And we're believing in what we're doing. So visit my website. It is makemoneyyoucontrol.com. Hey, got Oxy, welcome, welcome, welcome. Hey, Castro, welcome to you too. Thank y'all for joining me. Visit my website, makemoneyyoucontrol.com. Drop your email in and you will get an email from me welcoming you. You will also get the step-by-step blueprint attached. There are also video, not in that email, but there's a link to videos, a welcome video to tell you more about the community. You will hear testimonials from community members. These six-figure earners I've been talking about, we've got videos of them telling y'all about their journey, where they were when they joined, why they joined, and what this journey has meant to them. You will also see our programs. All 5 of our programs, the 100, 300, 600, 900, and $1,400 program. It will show you the available options for payment plans. Go ahead if you're interested, fill it out. Right now, we are in a 90-day run. It is a perfect time to join. We are getting strategic nuggets from our founder every single day in videos that are 5 to 8 minutes long. She's given us action steps. We're employing and implementing those action steps on this 90-day run. It is 30K in 90 days, our freedom formula blueprint. No, our freedom formula sprint. We're not making any claims because we cannot make those claims. What you get out of it is what you put into it. We don't know your work ethics, so we're not making any claims. We're just telling you, we're giving you the strategies in order to achieve that amount of success. Will you? I don't know. Will I? I don't know. But what I do know is I'm showing up. Hey, Nika, my sweet Nika. Mwah, 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 mwah. Thank you for joining me, daughter. What I do know is I am disciplined, I am determined, and I will not shake away from what I have decided to do. I'm on this run and I'm going to be successful in this run, y'all. Okay, again, the website is makemoneyyoucontrol.com. There's a little 32-second welcome message from me. Drop your email. You will see links. You'll get the blueprint. You will see links within that email to advance to my actual website that contains my product. Scroll all the way down from the top to the bottom. You will see all of the programs we have. Up at the very beginning, like this, is the $1,400 program, where our 4 programs are available in English and in Spanish. All right. Then scroll down. You'll see a welcome message from me, and you'll see my pretty babies. Scroll down, and you will also see the additional programs, the 900, 600, 300, and $100 programs. Again, you see, Cheryl is that sweet thing that used that $300. Oh, she purchased a $300 program, said use that payment plan. That's my witness. She is my witness. She knows those program payment plans are available and they work. No interest-free payment plans. Yes, that's what you get. So, y'all, I didn't talk enough. Now, didn't I say a while ago it was an hour and 19 minutes? We are now at an hour and 35 minutes. I enjoyed y'all. DJ Too Sturdy. Hey, Sugar Wooga. La Keys. Is that La Keys? La Keys. Hey, G Millie Z. What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Oh, I love y'all stopping by to say hey. I thank y'all for stopping by. See, Ray, I can see I got my specs on, so I can see when somebody pop up. Y'all see now? I don't even know. Yeah. Anyway, thank y'all. I've enjoyed y'all. Y'all gonna join me tomorrow night. I ain't gonna say same bat time, same bat channel. And for those, what up? Oh, Papa Ray say, what up, kid, to you, Nika? Yes, I don't know what time. I'm trying to get consistent. That's also a part of my discipline, but I have to make sure my moderator, my co-host, my hubby, ex-hubby is available and ready to moderate because I cannot do this by myself. Anyway, because I love for people to be acknowledged when they show up. Hey, Jalamashan. Jalen, Jalen LaShawn. Oh, if that's your name, that's beautiful. Oh, I like that. That's pretty. Anyway, thank y'all. Okay, I'm done. Like for real, you would think I'm a Baptist preacher. I done said I'm wrapping it up, I'm closing it up, and I'm still going. Nah, all hearts and minds clear. All hearts and minds clear. Yes. All right. Thank y'all. Now, listen, I need y'all to go with God. Let him lead, teach, guide, direct you. Let him keep you. Let him be your source, your sustainer, your supplier, and provider on a daily basis, all day, every day. When you wake up, thank him. When you're going throughout your day, thank him. When you lay your head down on your bed at night, thank him for what he's brought you through. All right. That's how we're working on this corner. All right, y'all. Thank y'all. I appreciate y'all. I will see y'all tomorrow. And I'll put in my story what time I'm going to go live. So if y'all want to join me, if you want to come play, that will be great. Hey, Vu. Thank you for jumping in. So I'm getting ready to wrap this almost 2-hour live up. I've enjoyed my people. All right. Y'all take care. Be good. Love each other. Find peace in the world. If you can't find it, make it. All right. Appreciate y'all. Yeah. Bye, TikTok. Did it? Yes. Bye, Facebook. Appreciate y'all. Okay. Bye, YouTube. Appreciate you too. This been fun.